If you're planning to watch the first Republican primary debate on Fox, you're going to notice something's missing.
Former President Trump slammed by some of his GOP rivals for planning to skip the first Republican debate next week in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's right. Trump just isn't showing up. And that's a big deal because he's the man everyone would want to hear, the clear frontrunner for the Republican nomination.
Our survey found 62% of likely primary voters support Trump. Governor Ron DeSantis is second with just 16%.
This is one of the largest leads that we've seen in an open presidential primary where there wasn't an incumbent. And so I think that for Trump, it's really just about avoiding some kind of a misstep, being pressed on some of these issues that he hasn't really been because he hasn't been running a more fulsome campaign.
Yes, Trump's refusal to defend himself on a national stage is a very calculated move. So let's break down 3 strategic reasons why Trump is skipping the first and maybe all of the Republican primary debates. Here's Trump's justification for skipping out, in his own words, on his own Truth Social platform. The public knows who I am and what a successful presidency I had. I will therefore not be doing the debates. So now on some level, this is true. The public certainly knows who he is.
Very powerful guy, big, strong guy, with tears coming down on his face, said, "Thank you, Mr. President, for saving our country." This happens all the time. My administration has accomplished more than almost any administration in the history of our country.
He said, "You know, sir, if you want, you're really smart. You ought to take the cognitive test." Did I ace it?
Yes, sir.
I aced it.
And he would argue his presidency stands for itself. Tough on China, a real defender of American values. But his presidency also had major problems. He's been indicted 4 times this year in New York, in Georgia, and he's facing federal charges in Washington, D.C. and Florida. So imagine him answering questions about his vision, yes, and his record, but also about hush money payments to porn stars, about showing off classified documents, about attempts to steal the last presidential election.
He has a whole bunch of opponents who badly need to go after him because he is the runaway favorite.
So when you're as far ahead in the polls as Trump is, there's little to gain, lots to lose. And while the whole criminal indictment thing actually works for Trump because his supporters see him as a martyr,
These 4 horrible, radical left Democrat investigations of your all-time favorite president, me,
allowing Republican opponents to chip away at the cracks could be dangerous.
He really comes out the winner in not going to this debate. I mean, you have to really wonder why he would go potentially, because he would be faced with hard questions, not only from the moderators, but from some of his rivals like Chris Christie, right?
So you're leading people by 50 and 60 points, and you say, why would you be doing a debate? It's actually not fair. Why would you let somebody that's at 0 or at 1 or 2 or 3, be popping you with questions?
And don't forget, Trump has employed this tactic before. Back in 2016, he skipped the final GOP primary debate and held his own event instead. I did something that was very risky, and I think it turned out great because I'm on the front page of every paper. I'm getting more publicity than if I was in the debate.
This adds another element to a very complicated relationship between Donald Trump and Fox News.
The debate is being hosted by Fox News, and Fox and Donald Trump used to be like this.
I must tell you, Fox has treated me fairly. Fox.
Fox's coverage of Trump in the Oval Office was pretty favorable. In exchange, Trump often gave them exclusive interviews. He would quote Fox News as a reliable source of information, even hire people who used to work there to work for him. But the relationship really soured on election night 2020. Fox was among the very first networks to declare Trump had lost the state of Arizona, which meant he would ultimately lose the presidency.
Arizona, are you 100% sure of that call and when you made it and why did you make it?
Absolutely.
That's when things began to unravel. And fast forward to a few days ago, Trump still hasn't forgiven Fox. From his post on Truth Social, why doesn't Fox and Friends show all of the polls where I'm beating Biden by a lot? They just won't do it. And make no mistake, saying no to the Fox debate will sting. Before Trump was first elected in 2015, a Fox News debate featuring Trump pulled in about 24 million viewers, which is wild because the election cycle before that, they pulled in about 3 million. So Trump gave them like a 700% increase in ratings.
The executives were basically pleading with him. They went to his Bedminster club and asked him to participate in this debate. We know that on air, the hosts have been encouraging him to participate.
And here's the salt in the wound. Trump isn't just dodging the Fox News debate.
Instead, he'll do a one-on-one sit-down interview with former Fox News host Tucker Carlson. Those same sources speculate that Trump will air the interview with Carlson around the same time as the debate as part of a counter-programming measure for his campaign.
That's right. He's competing against Fox, no doubt pulling their viewers away and doing it with one of their own former stars.
Even by not going, the debate is all about him. Everyone is going to talk about Trump, and the specter of him not being there is going to hang over it and define the very terms of what happens.
His absence, in a way, really sucks the oxygen out of the room because he has all of the focus, none of the risk.
And to the extent that that doesn't allow some of these candidates who worked really hard to get on that debate stage to get some notoriety and get people to be familiarized with their candidacy, that could be a setback for them as well.
So not only are fewer people watching, the candidates are still stuck talking about Trump and less able to focus on their own platforms. Now, no one's saying that Trump's absence can't backfire, right? He'd be letting his opponents attack him for free, in essence. But here's one more thing to consider. Trump, despite saying he's not coming, could still show up. Like, wouldn't that be quite the entrance, right? And Fox News is said to be preparing for that very thing in the off chance that it does happen.